talking about USDJPY, why is the dollar yen interesting to us as traders? Correlates with gold. It's a safe haven currency. That's the one I was looking for. Risk, safe haven, volatility. It stands with gold. It's stable. You guys are correct. Yes. So the dollar yen is interesting to me, right? Because the idea here is that the yen is in fact a safe haven currency, or at least it has been historically. So what does that mean? It means that in times of fear, right? Let's start a little bit fresh here real quick. In times of fear, when it comes to dollar yen, USDJPY, right? People take their money during a time of well, let's define this. Okay, so you have risk on and risk off. Right? Risk on or risk off basically is the idea that when the markets are confident or not afraid, right, they're risk on. Meaning that they'll put money in areas or places that are more risky. Well, what's in this category? In here you have stocks, you have the US dollar, you have the British pound, right? You have these investments that are slightly more volatile. They're more risky. Now they can return very, very well. And of course, that's why investors want to trade with these things, you know, individual stocks and that sort of thing, but they are more of a risk on investment, right? As opposed to the risk off category where you have things like bonds and you have things like the JPY, okay? And so the dollar yen becomes very, very interesting to watch for us because it kind of is a clash between this risk on concept and this risk off concept. Okay? So when we're talking about USDJPY, we get an idea of what market sentiment really is. Now it's not perfect and it doesn't correlate exactly to the rest of the world, but the dollar yen gives us a pretty good idea. If the market in dollar yen is moving up, it means that we're risk on and that volatility is considered lower. Things are a little, you know, they're less, markets are more confident, right? So if the dollar yen is going up, what does that mean? Well, it means that people are putting their money, people are taking money out of the yen and putting it into the US dollar, meaning that they're not interested in buying the yen. They're interested in putting money in the dollar. Right? So when you're trading a currency pair, you're trading one against the other. So when you're trading dollar yen, we are talking about putting your money from other places like the yen and moving it into something more risky like the US dollar or the pound, right? Many of you guys know that pound yen is considered very volatile. There's a reasoning behind that, right? You have the US dollar being favored in a risk on environment. Now in a risk off environment, we see the opposite. We see people scared, right? Or unsure about markets. When things are scary or volatile, what you're going to generally see is people taking money out of the US dollar and putting it into something like the JPY. Okay, the JPY is considered a safe haven currency. And that's just been how it has been historically, right? People, you know, put their money in the JPY during times of fear. So that's why you're going to see, take a look at this. Let's take a look at what's been going on with the JPY. As we've come into towards the end of 2018, right, we had a major crash on the dollar yen. What does that mean? That means that people are taking their money out of risky environments and putting it into a more safe considered asset like the JPY. Right, so you have this market selling off because people are taking money out of the US dollar and putting it into the Japanese yen, okay? And so that's why we've seen this downward market here on the yen. Fundamentally, we've seen a lot of bias or a lot of people kind of unsure about global markets lately, right? When you see these long movements like this though, when we see this more recent, this is showing us that the market right now has become more confident. It's been putting more money back into risk on investments.